Today I'm trying to add some wood to my rat cage, and you use this for a lot of different animals that like to be in the trees. Not guinea pigs, they don't like that. Although I guess you could add it low and they might like climbing over it and stuff. But these are cuts from my apple tree, I believe. I'm hoping. There shouldn't be anything else because I don't really have any other trees in there. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm using a couple different brackets. I'm using a screwdriver. So I've got, not that one. So I have these. This one's already like a little bent a little. So I can bend that back or ignore it and just work with it. And what I'm going to do is I add this the base of my drill. And I want to drill it into my wood, and I want to drill it so that the entire thread for the pointy end is pretty much through it. This one's has a little less, but it's not too big a deal. So I'm going to do that for both ends, and ideally I do want a better end, so I'm probably going to cut this so it's not cracked like this. This one I cut just a second ago, so but that's fine. You can decide to sand it if you want. It's up to you, but I have rats and they're going to chew it. It'll be fine. So the reason you use safe wood is if you have a chewing critter that they're going to want to chew it. And if you know it's safe, they're not going to get any toxins from it. I don't know. Animals are usually smarter than we give them credit for. So I don't know how risky it is to not use safe wood. If you have the safe wood, it's better to use it. Yeah, just generally use the safe wood. Apple trees are safe, at least from my understanding and what I've looked up. So it works out because I have to prune my tree pretty regularly. So I'm going to go cut off these ends a little bit. You might want to hold your thing with gloved hands. This is going to be hard because it's crooked. It might crack the wood a little. That's why ideally you have something that's thicker. Okay, so there's that. Just make sure it's not poking out the other side so your animal doesn't get hurt on it. I am going to put another one on the other end so that both ends are attached. Now, if you have a smaller piece and you just want to have a little short area sticking out, you probably don't need to do that. I don't think, depending on the weight of your animal and all that good stuff. But I want it on both sides so I can attach it at a corner. Yeah, I'm going to put one on this side and show you what it looks like. Okay, so last but not least, you're going to need a wing nut to go on each end that fits your bracket. So just make sure it fits. And you're also going to need a washer that is bigger than your bars, because this will go on the outside to keep it from moving. So I think this should be good. I save these a lot from projects. I'm very cheap. I hate wasting brackets. I know how much they cost. So I save a lot of items from projects that don't need them, kits, that sort of thing, that end up not using certain items unless you're setting it up a certain way, that sort of thing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to find a good spot where we can stick this through like this. So you see how I've got both through one side, or either side. So I've got this one here, and I've got this one here. Hopefully my ratties won't go for a little escape while I'm doing it. You can see that's big enough. And then, hopefully this is right. I can just tighten this on. Now the nice thing about this is I can unscrew this bracket and reuse it if they chew up this wood and I want to replace the wood. And because I have apple trees in my yard and safe trees in general in my yard, I can always have... You guys, are you so tired? Oh my goodness. So I'll always have more options to use. Now you could sand this down and stuff. Again, it's an apple tree. I'm not super worried about it. It has been outside. You can put it in the oven for a little bit if you're worried about bugs. My hope is to eventually do a bioactive bottom to this, which means I'll intentionally add bugs to the cage, which, most of the time I find that if you take sticks and you get the bark off them pretty well, or even if you don't, if you leave them in a spot like on your front porch where there's not a lot going on, a lot of times they just leave on their own. I don't know that I've ever had issues. And I use a lot of sticks in my snake cage, but my snake cage is bioactive as well. So again, I'm also intentionally putting bugs in there. I'm using isopods and springtails in there, so having bugs in it's a point. Apparently these guys eat bugs, so I'm hoping that'll work. I think it'd be nice if it was flat against it, but I think this will work just fine. Might be move a little. You're so cute. But that's all there is to it. I'm going to go do this with 2, 3 more of them. So there's lots of little spots for them to come down. Lots of places for them to chew. As you can see, I've been setting up and trying to make it as engaging and exciting as possible. There's treats in there for them to forage through. I'm hoping to do this bottom as a bioactive eventually, not with this bottom, but bioactives, when you use dirt, so they can have dirt to dig through. And yeah, it's just a little bit more exciting and engaging for them. But you also use bugs like springtails and isopods to help break down some of the poop and stuff in there, so you're not having to change it out constantly. I've heard to use litter boxes as well, otherwise it's not able to keep up, which makes sense. Okay, so here they are. Wasn't able to screw these in very tight. I don't know if the nuts didn't fit or what. This one I didn't add anything to the end because it was too small to go through without splitting, so I might need some smaller brackets. But this actually shoved right between the cage, so that worked fine. Let's see, we've got one here. Got this one. But I also have one here as well. Going all the way over there. Hope that was helpful. Thanks so much. Have a great day.